2 years ago, Kinnikuman became my favorite superhero anime for its diverse characters of Justice Superman, Devil Superman, and Perfect Superman. 2 years later, it's still my favorite, but I found another superhero anime that's pretty close. From all of the anime and manga I stumbled upon this year, my favorite thing was Casshan, 1973. Some of you may be familiar with Casshan's Sins. Well, this is the original series, and I assure you, it's completely different from Sins to the point where I can't like Sins. I hate it. It's an opinion, but let me tell you facts of the original story. When the pollution prevention android BK-1 gets struck by lightning, he starts to disobey human commands and wishes to enslave them by conquering the world and free all robot servants. His creator, Dr. Azuma, is then labeled as the man responsible for the current epidemic. His son Tetsuya wishes to clear his father's name by participating in an experiment, turning himself into a newly built man, a new type of cyborg, and is renamed Casshan. He's come to save us from the Iron Devil Bright King boss, aka Black King. I love this anime. The story is basically about a man wanting to reunite his family because Black King takes his mom and dad as slaves, and drama ensues. It's already bad enough that his dog, Lucky, gets killed by a robot, but he gets revived and becomes a robot dog Friender, who can transform into a jet, a tank with a drill, a car, and a submarine. Oh, by the way, did you think Mega Man was based on Astro Boy? Wrong! He was based on Casshan. I mean, the dog sidekick makes it really obvious. I don't want to get into more story details, but I will say it's very episodic for 35 episodes, but thankfully, it actually has an ending. I know this might sound strange, but if you've seen Devilman 1972 and Cutie Honey 1973, those superhero anime do not have endings. They never show a final battle against the main villain and they just stick to fighting henchmen. So I was very grateful for this story to actually have an ending. There were some bumps on the way, but it got better as it kept going. This anime really puts emphasis on tragedy. To be honest, it feels more like a war story that had a superhero and a supervillain in it. The main message of this series is hope and justice, and of course, family, which the hero Casshan longs for, especially when he doesn't have much human traits. Except the skin on his face. That kinda reminds me of somebody. The setting is so dreadful that it's quite reminiscent of Fist of the North Star, even having Kenji Utsumi voicing the main villain, even though it was made 10 years before Hokuto no Ken. It's a superhero anime I highly recommend, but do expect it to feel a little repetitive in some areas, but by the time you finish it, you get this sense of relief, especially with all the sorrow the hero had to go through. In a world filled with people who hate robots, this guy, who is no longer human, doesn't get much respect, to the point where there's a racist/discriminating tone within the series. Besides Friender, the only person Casshan has is his girlfriend Luna, so if Casshan's Sins is the only thing you've seen, then you're gonna have a very unique experience watching the original Casshan because they're nothing alike. Especially with the relationship between Casshan and Luna, and more importantly, the entire story. I kind of feel Casshan's Sins was a medical drama of terminally ill patients with Casshan characters. Looking back, it's like having a RoboCop reboot, only instead of RoboCop being a police officer, he's some broody, angsty dude with very human features such as hair, who wanders around destroyed cities filled with cancer patients or people suffering from leprosy, and people do not view him as a hero of hope but instead treat him like a fucking plague. That's not RoboCop. He's supposed to kill criminals to restore the peace and struggles to keep his humanity. In fact, that's what Casshan is. He's a superhero version of RoboCop. Like AIDS Man. So yeah, Casshan's probably the best superhero anime story about a lone tragic hero who just wants his family back. This concludes this year's 12 Days of Anime. Tune in on New Year's Day for a new video about my experience with 2016 and an AMV. I'm the Anime Hero and I review anime so you can enjoy it.